Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video. Of course, the last video of the secular year, although of course it's not our new year, it's not our holiday. Nevertheless, I hope you've all had a chance to get a bit of a break, perhaps to see some family and friends, of course in a safe and secure way. And I often tell people it's my only holiday because I don't have to worry about Yom Tov and Shul. It's just a good chance to unwind and relax and build our strength for the coming year. We are about to read the Sedra of Vaera this week, the second Sedra, and it's going to start with the Makkahs, with the plagues that Paro was given, and the first 7 are given in this week's Sedra. That's the numerical value of the first 2 letters of this week's Sedra. Vav and Aleph make 7. And the last three are given in next week's Sedra, and the numerical value of the word boy, which is next week's parasha, is 3. So that's how you can remember 7 and 3. The first plague was, of course, blood. Everything turned to blood. The second plague was frogs, Sephardea, frogs. And we don't need to. The commentators, the Medrash tells us we shouldn't be thinking of cute little frogs that we see jumping around the tanks in the aquarium, but also included great big reptiles, animals that were dangerous, and obviously this was a terrible plague. We're told that the frogs went literally inside the ovens, and they went everywhere into the Mitzrayim when they got up from morning to night. The noise, the stench, the plague was just absolutely dreadful. And the Medrash says that the verse says Vatar had Sephardea, the frog came up, and simply speaking, Rashi says Sephardea, the frog, like we say sheep. We have a singular use, even though we're referring to many frogs. But there's a Medrash that says that what happened was the frogs came up. It was a single frog, a very large single frog, and they wanted to nip it in the bud. They started beating it, and the more they beat it, the more it multiplied. Some say it spat out frog, or some say it doubled, tripled. Each time they bit it, they beat it, it split itself in half, until eventually there was an entire plague of frogs. But the Stipler Asi says, surely that doesn't really, this Medrash is hard to understand. If you beat something and it goes from 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, etc., it's multiplying, then just stop. Why did they keep doing it? Why did they keep going down this path of self-destruction? And he explains, he says, you see, when people are angry, they act irrationally, and they can react in a way that makes problems worse. And that was going on. They lost their minds, and they just got so focused on beating the frogs that they didn't actually stop to realize that what they were doing was causing more harm than good. And that's true, unfortunately, in a lot of things. People who have negative behaviors, God forbid, compulsions or addictions, the alcoholic knows that the bottle is not going to help. The drug addict knows the drugs aren't going to solve the problem, but it's reliance, and it's an out-of-mindness, a desperation, that unfortunately people press the self-destruct button, and then they make things worse and worse and worse. And the hardest part is to drag oneself out of that mire and go towards healthy habits and healthy behaviors. So that's very important. When we're focusing on a problem, don't do it through anger. Do it always rationally, calmly. Think about what you're doing. Think about the way to make the situation better. When a person is angry, that's not a good time. If someone's annoyed you, don't call them up when you're angry. Think about it. Calm down. Then have a rational conversation. If it's anger, it just leads to more anger, and eventually breaks the whole thing, blows up, and the damage is even worse. So I wish you all a good Shabbos, and hope to see you in Shul, and all the very best.